Hi all, it's Barb. Welcome to my craft studio. Today we're going to do a vlog. I'm going to talk about the Get Organized Challenge and maybe a few other things. We'll see how it goes. Be right back. Totally Tiffany's Get Organized Challenge started on Tuesday. There is still time to join if you're interested in organizing your system, your craft supplies. I'll kind of go over briefly the homework. You're supposed to create a big benefit board. Let's see if I can turn real quick. That's my big benefit board there. I have a envelope for each week. I can put my reward because you need to have a reward for each week. And then my big benefit is crafting is easier. Your big benefit is not a reward. Your big benefit is what you're hoping to achieve by that. My very first one was to craft without frustration. Now I just put crafting is easier because everything's pretty much organized. So you want to come up with a big benefit board. It can be as simple as writing down on a sheet of paper each week at what your reward is and what your big benefit is. The important thing is you should try to post it someplace to remind you of why you're doing this. Read the four-section system. Four-section system, real quick, is alphabets and numbers, themes and sentiments, calendar year, and the rainbow. There's a video and a blog post that you can read, and there's even a printable version of the blog post. Determine what type of crafter you are. Tiffany divides it into 4 different types. Determine which type you are, because that helps you determine. It kind of is based upon how and where you craft. It helps you determine what type of craft organization supplies you need and how you would want your room laid out. Create your themes and sentiments list. Themes and sentiments are the things you craft about. For instance, bling is not a theme. It's a type of product. Bling, if it's theme specific, will go into one of your themes. If it's not, it goes into your rainbow section. You want to avoid having themes for every type of embellishment there is. It defeats the purpose of organization. You'll really discover the rainbow section is a thing of beauty if you embrace it and use it. Tiffany goes into that more in her video, but take a few before pictures. You can share these if you want, and if you're in the Get Organized with Totally Tiffany Facebook page, or you can just have them for yourself so you can see your progress. Gather your supplies together into one room or space. One thing I always stress with people this week is if it's your first challenge, you are not sorting things into your 4-section system. The most I would do my first challenge is, as I gather, divide it into the weeks of the challenge. Like the first week is just learning the system, preparing yourself in your space for the task you're about to take on. So there's really not a category, anything that's going to go into that one. But you put your maybe divide all your paper into one area. Don't sort any of it. Just put all your paper together. Put all your photos together. And you know what? Everybody has photos. Even if you don't scrapbook, you have photos. Even if they're just on your phone, you have photos. What's next? Embellishments. That's stickers. Die cuts, not dies, but die cuts, the things that are already been cut with your dies or whatever. Bling, washi tape, ribbon, anything like that. A lot of things fall into embellishments. I'm sure I miss lots of things. Tools, that's things like your stamps, your dies, your embossing folders, your stencils, your punches, your Cricut cartridges. I'm sure I missed something, but you get the idea. It's a tool that you use to create something else. Tools, what's next? Color, that's things that you use to add color to something else. How's that? So your pens, your markers, your stamp pads, your paints, that type of thing. Embossing powder would fall there. Glitter would fall there. That's another week. I'm trying to remember what week I missed. Let's see. I used before. That's 5. That's 6. So there's 2 more. Mementos. That's well, even people that don't scrapbook have mementos. It's things like ticket stubs, maybe travel brochures, graduation programs, different types of other programs too, that type of thing. And the last week is travel. So if you had things that you would only use when you went to a crop, they'd go in that area. You can maybe subdivide down into those 7 sections. So when we get to that week, you've got everything already gathered and in one spot. But you don't have to do that. But if you've got the time, it doesn't hurt to do that. The next one is to set a purge goal. Figure out what you're going to do for your purge. And establish a purge box in your room. I have a bin in my Calyx cube down in the corner here that I put things that I'm not keeping that somebody else might be able to use. Now, if it's broke or it just doesn't work properly, please don't give it to somebody else or sell it. I'm seeing all over Facebook people talking about, oh, I bought this Cricut machine that's been deactivated. How do I go about getting it reactivated? You can't reactivate it. That person scammed you, because when they deactivate a Cricut machine, it's because they sent that person a new one because that machine wasn't working right. Don't do that to people. That's it's bad. But so if something doesn't work right or it's broken, toss it or recycle it. Don't pass your frustration on to somebody else. You wouldn't like it if it happened to you, so don't do it to somebody else. It's really that simple. Evaluate your space for visibility and accessibility. This one here, think about how you craft. What products do you use all the time? You want them close to you. Products that you only use occasionally, you can put further away because you're not going to have to grab them every time. See, I put coloring agents here because I use those a lot. I grab those a lot. I have a cart right under my desk that I pull out and park to the side of me when I'm crafting that has all my adhesives on it, because I use adhesives just about every time I craft. So that's just kind of how you don't have to do it exactly how I do it. Obviously, what you use might be different than what I use anyways, but just kind of gives you an idea of how to think about that one. Create an organized only space. This is another one everybody struggles with. I tell them, don't overthink it. The first thing we sort next week is paper. So your organized only space can be where you're going to put your paper, and it doesn't have to be enough room for all your paper. If you clear one shelf or part of one shelf, I have a Calyx, the cube storage. If you're using cube storage, maybe clear out one cube to put your paper in, that once it's organized, and then as you sort, you'll empty another shelf as you're sorting, and you'll have another, and your organized only space will just keep growing throughout the challenge. You can kind of take that aspect to it every week. As you do photos, clear out where are your photos going to go. Okay, clear out a shelf or part of a shelf there for once you organize some photos, they can go there, and so forth. Create a widget notebook. That stands for what did you do today. I don't have an entire separate notebook. I have a section of my planner, and it's just I wrote down what task I accomplished today. Sometimes I do have like a checklist there. If I know, okay, I need to get this done this day, I'll write it there, and then I'll just check it off when I can get it done. But normally I just write down after I finished it. I write down what I did. if you're participating and you're not already a member of the Get Organized with Totally Tiffany Facebook page, join it. It's my favorite group on Facebook, outside of my own, of course. But there's just I don't see the drama in it that I see in other groups. I was worried when she joined with Crafter's Companion and the group started really growing that maybe we were going to start seeing that. But so far, it's been okay. We had a little bit when it first started growing, and it seemed like that was just, no, we don't do that here. and it really, the people just really seem to realize that, no, you still get some spammers. When a group gets a certain size, you're always going to get spammers. You know what? I've been in small groups that have spam. Now, in my groups, I take a really hard approach to that. I'll warn you once, second time, you're out. Sometimes I'll take a look at their profiles too. For my groups, I don't have this ability in the Get Organized with Totally Tiffany group. I'm a volunteer moderator. I can't remove posts outside of files. That's kind of why they made me a moderator, is to put topics on the files and to make sure we're not duplicating stuff, and we're not putting things in there that just don't belong in the group. They want it to stay organization, or at least crafty. They've let a few things that are just crafty. I didn't make final decision on those. I had created a hashtag for them so that they could go back and review. I said, you might just want to take a look at these ones. Let me know what you think. I'll either remove it or I'll remove the hashtag I used for telling you that it needed to be reviewed from it. So, so that's how we did it. I didn't make final decision on anything. With duplicates, I did, because I know what's in there better than they do. Go public with your goals for the challenge. This can be as simple as, if you're in the Facebook group, sharing what you're hoping to accomplish, or telling a friend or family member. If you have friends, or if you have family members, especially kids, you can kind of make your rewards to help them buy in with you. So if you have a kid who likes doing a certain thing, you can make one of your rewards. Okay, we're gonna go. I don't know what's popular among kids right now, but something say, oh, we're gonna go paintball. That may not even be popular anymore, but you get the idea. With you, if you leave me time to do what I need to do organization wise, if you're not constantly here bugging me for every little thing. There's something about when mom gets busy that suddenly the kids need everything. It's true of dads too, but and then when you don't even this part, a lot of people think progress report means they're finished. You don't have to be finished with your homework. It's simply what it says. It's a progress post. You need to post in the Get Organized challenge, Get Organized with Totally Tiffany. I've got to get that name straight. I changed the name of the group. Progress post. We do it. If you do it all caps, it helps them see it, and then say what you've done, or maybe lack a progress post. It happens. Or if you're not on Facebook, or you just don't want to post it, you can email it into Totally Tiffany customer service at totally-tiffany.com. Anyone who puts up a progress post or emails one gets put into a drawing. In the past, it's been a gift certificate to Totally Tiffany. Every week they give away one, or sometimes two. It depends. Some weeks, like during paper week, a lot of times they'll have an ugly paper contest. And that one usually isn't a gift certificate. It's usually more tied in with the week. Like I've seen them give away paper storage for the winner of the ugly paper post. And there's if you participate, and they do that this year, there's a post in the group that you have to post your picture there. You might be able to email it in as well if you're not on Facebook, but you don't create a separate post with that. You put it in the comments of that one. That way they can see all the entries right there. What they ought to do is create an album and make people add to that, because it's a lot easier to look at an album than it is comments. Though maybe they do a comment picker, because that, I think they do have those, so maybe that's why, that might be why they want it as a comment, so they just use a comment picker to pick which one, you know, wins. They just make sure whichever one gets picked actually has a photo, because some people will just comment on the pictures. And then the important thing is, when you finished all of these steps in the homework, celebrate with your award. This one becomes important in future weeks. People think, oh, I don't get my reward for paper because I didn't do all of my paper. You weren't assigned to do all of your paper. Tiffany assigns a small amount of homework. The first week looks horrible, but it's not as bad as it looks, because you're not sorting anything. You're just learning things more than anything. Like I said, the closest coming to sorting is gathering your stuff together. Like next week during paper week, I think it's 8 inches of paper that she assigns the first week, if I remember correctly. So once you've sorted 8 inches, you can sort more, but you don't have to complete your homework. So just remember, you only need to complete she does this in each week. She creates a checklist. If you can check off everything she lists, you've done your homework, you get your reward. That's another thing, and Tiffany stresses it too, is you are most likely not going to complete your organization in 8 weeks. More than likely your room took longer than room, or your space. It doesn't necessarily have to be a room, but when I say room, I just mean your craft supplies. I don't necessarily mean a physical room. Most likely your craft supplies got into the condition they are in more than 8 weeks. So you're probably not going to get them completed in 8 weeks. Sometimes I look at these different challenges for cleaning your house, and it's like they have you cleaning your whole house in a month, and it's like, I mean deep cleaning your whole house in a month, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. For me, even not working, I couldn't because of my health, but when I was working, it would have been, unless I'm gonna take a whole month off, that's not even a possibility. But you know, you can have realistic goals. And if you don't finish 1 week's homework there, if you need to carry it over to the next week, you still should take that reward when you're finished. It doesn't say you have to finish this all in 1 week, just you need to finish it. Though most of her homework, even for people with jobs or whatever, because she doesn't say, oh, you need to sort all your paper, she does a reasonable amount. Like at the 8 inches, there's 7 days in a week. That's just a little over sorting an inch a day. An inch of paper isn't that much. My first challenge I did from bed, because it was right at the beginning of my illness. I'd have hubby, before he went to work, bring me things, and I would sort those things in bed. I mean, yeah, I had to get up a few times through the day for whatever, but I had a hard time carrying things at that point at all. It's gotten a little better, but so I made him bring what I was going to sort. We put it there, and then I just kind of laid things out and sorted a couple categories at a time. I had to go through things a lot of times because of that, but I did it. My goals for the challenge are different than most. I should give you my piece of advice if you're doing the challenge. First, follow the homework. If it's your first time through, don't work ahead. Don't say, oh, I've done all these steps, I'm going to start sorting my paper. No, paper's not till next week. Don't move on to paper. Next week, if miraculously you happen to finish all of your paper, which probably isn't going to do, probably wouldn't happen for most of us, don't go on to photos. Wait till Tiffany lays the groundwork for each of the subjects before you move on. Now, if you've been through the challenge before, odds are you may have maybe all your paper done. So work on something then during paper week that you need to work on. But the first time through, follow the plan, don't work ahead. Tiffany's got it pretty well thought out. My other thing is, when you're doing this, try Tiffany's way first. I can honestly say that yes, I've changed a few things, but I would not have found what works for me if I hadn't done it Tiffany's way first. Because most of the time she was really close. It's just a few times it was like, yeah, that's not quite, that isn't quite working for me. So maybe if I do this, and sometimes you have to do it a few times. Another one is, don't obsess when you do start sorting over what theme things go into, theme or color things go into. Make a decision, put it there. If you decide later it doesn't belong there, move it. It's not written in stone. Everything can be changed. My goals are a little different this challenge. First and foremost, this week I want to put away anything that I've purchased that I haven't put away, and I want to put away anything that I've pulled for a project that I haven't put away yet. That's kind of my goal for this week. I'm not really doing much projects this week as a result. I just haven't had time to do it. It's been one of those months for me. So that's something I'm going to work on later today, is doing more of that. Then I want to go through my paper and kind of straighten it up. I try to do that every challenge, even though my paper is all sorted. It gets a little messy, you know. I just want to go through and straighten it up, and with all of my supplies, look for purge opportunities. There's certain sections of my paper, my themes and calendar year, that I want to fine tune how I have it divided down. Like my Christmas paper, I want to have like holly and poinsettias or something like that. Trees, Santa Claus, kind of create subcategories within it. So I want to fine tune how it is, so that if I'm doing a project and I'm like, oh, I really want paper with Santas on it, I can just go right to my Christmas and right to my Santa section and find it. And if I don't, it's easy enough to go through it all until I find something that I'm like, oh, this will work, you know. Some of these will not be this challenge. I will warn you. I'm trying right now. I've just been writing things here, but I'm going to put it, this is my Get Organized Challenge notebook. I punch all my printables and put them in here. I need to update to this one. I keep a running list of things that I want to do in my craft studio to organize better. I'm trying to keep a running list of things, organization that I want to buy, and what I plan to use it for. Because I can't tell you how many times before I was just writing down what I wanted to buy, and then I'd buy it and I'd get it and I'm like, what was I going to use this for? I don't remember. So I'm trying to write down what I wanted to use it for, as well as what I wanted to buy. I want to organize my mother-in-law's photos. I want to get there's some there I want to get scanned, and I want to kind of create a print plan and try to print a little every month. I should add to this that I want to get, it's not really craft room, but I keep it in my craft room so I count it. I'm trying to start a notebook of like as funeral plans, for lack of anything else to call it, a list of, and not only funeral, but what needs to be done, where to find important documents, photos maybe that would be used in displays for both me and my husband. I might do one for my mother-in-law, but I'll be honest, after the fiasco of my father-in-law's and being jumped all over for stepping up and doing things that weren't getting done, I don't know that I would do that unless I was asked. But it doesn't hurt to have it propped. If I don't need it, I don't need it. If I do, it's there. I want to go through my scrap rack and look for purge opportunities and replace any pages that aren't totally Tiffany pages. I found, yes, I've used them in a pinch. I've used We Are Memory Keeper pages. I've used different types of pages in there to get me through because I had those on hand, or I found them at garage sales for really cheap. Those are the ones I'm finding are tearing. So I want to replace those if I can. I should have, too bad I wouldn't have got to this before because there's a sale on Scrap Rack pages, but it'll give me an idea anyways of what I need if I don't finish it. I want to go through and label areas that aren't labeled in my craft room, or add better labels, permanent labels. Sometimes some of them are just temporarily labeled. I want to get better labels on things, make them look nicer. So that's kind of one of my goals. I don't know if I'll get to that one this time. Digital files, this one I'm sure I won't get to this time, but I have tons of SVGs and printables and other crafting type things on my computer. I want to go through them, and I want to get them into the 4-section system too. Now some of them, like my Dreaming Tree files, I like to keep those in a Dreaming Tree folder, so I probably won't do those ones, but even those I want to try to keep them nicer than what they are right now. My Dreaming Tree files are in pretty good shape, but I also, as I go through my scrap rack, I want to put the pages in order. I want to start with my catalog pages because I just put my catalog right at the front of each theme. Then maybe like the ones that actually have tools, because in some cases I put my stamps or dies or whatever right in the scrap rack, so I want those up front. And then I'm going to go from the most number of pockets to the smallest. So like I think right now, well, I have some 16-page ones. She doesn't sell the Sweet 16 anymore, but Sweet 16 would go first, then 12, then 9, then 8, down to one single page. And I think I also want to put backers in each of mine, which is one reason why I know I'm going to need more white paper. Because I just like how it looks. It doesn't have to be done. It's just me, just a personal preference. Trying to think. I think that's all I have written down right now, but I'm sure that I will come up with more. Like I said, I want to create a running list in here of things that I want to do. I might have a master list, and then I might break it down by if it fits into weeks of the challenge. But some of that is an as-you-go thing. This video is way longer than I wanted. It'll take forever to upload. But the other thing I wanted to touch on for you was just to remind you that HSN is having another craft day. It's not 24 hours, but it's mostly crafts. On Tuesday, March 29th, Crafter's Companion has the Today's Special. I don't know what it is, but I know they have the Today's Special because they kick off the night. I don't know who guests are because that information's not on the website yet. At least it wasn't last time I looked. Typically with Craft Day on Tuesday, it goes up sometime over the weekend before.